Welcome, everybody. This is show Q and Debby, Love, Life, and Sex. And this is Q speaking. And let me let my beautiful radio wife speak in and say,
Hi, everybody. It's Debbie. There, was that good?
that's good. And how are you doing today, Debbie?
I'm great.
Yeah?
Yeah, I'm here. I have my work husband here. I got Pam here.
I know.
Our guest.
Well, tell us about Pam.
Well, Pam is a friend of mine, and she is here tonight. Our topic is STDs, and we're going to be focusing on herpes and HPV. So we brought Pam in. She is a health coach, and why don't you say hi to everybody, Pam?
Hi, everybody.
See, everybody does that.
And her name is Pam Marshall, right?
I'm Pam
Yes.
Marshall.
And she's a health coach. Do you have a website or anything that you work
Yes,
on?
I'm also a massage therapist.
Oh, wonderful.
So it's newawakeningsmassage.com. And basically what I do is I actually sort of do my health coaching when I'm actually doing my massages, because a lot of the stuff that goes on in a person's body is something to do with other things in their life.
Oh, fantastic. So we're going to have a great talk today, huh?
Oh, yeah.
And could you repeat your website again?
newawakeningsmassage.com.
newawakeningsmassage.com.
Yes.
Oh, cool. All right,
I
you
know
guys.
what kind of awakenings go on.
We awaken you to your bodies telling you things that you actually should be listening to.
See, but that's not what Debbie was leading.
No,
to,
I know
okay?
that.
I know. I'm the one that tries not to start anything, but this one here.
Yeah, I know.
You know.
She's a troublemaker.
I'm sorry. It's just how the mind works. I don't
So
even have
I
to
mean,
think
what did you
about
mean
it.
by new awakenings? What were you trying to infer to?
Myself?
Yeah, you.
Well, you know when you get a little excited
Uh-huh.
and things start going.
So were you inferring that there's happy endings to these things?
No, I didn't think that it was something
I'm
like
just
that
saying.
in like
I'm
Little
just saying.
China or
Oh,
anything.
okay.
Little Chinatown.
Okay.
Or wait, Little Italy, Chinatown, whatever. No, I was thinking more like, getting excited, happy awakenings, whatever, awakenings, waking things up.
Well, we
getting
had to make that
excited.
clear because people out there will say happy endings right away when they say happy.
No, I didn't
Massage,
mean
the
that about
word,
what
right.
Pam does.
Right. Okay.
I was just going on the awakenings.
See, I love to get her in trouble. You see, I got her explaining herself.
Listen, everything.
digging.
I know.
Yeah, everything on this show and in my personal life, I can find something related to sex. It doesn't matter what it is. It's terrible. I don't think it is, but apparently he does.
Well, no, I don't think it's terrible. I just think that you try to slip something in and then want to get away with it.
so to speak. That's what she said.
Slip it in, baby.
So we didn't get away with it,
Okay, anyway, so we're talking to Pam.
I've been dismissed. You see this? Okay,
He's
go
talking
ahead.
about slipping it in. We're talking about STDs here in a second.
Well, that's a pretty good segue.
Yeah, right. Oh, man. So,
Tell us about Pam. Or let Pam tell us about
was talking
herself.
about herself. She was
Jeez.
saying that she's a health coach. While she's doing her massages, she kind of brings that into it as well because it has to do with things going on with your body. Mm-hmm. But we have her here regarding the STD topic.
And which is an important topic,
It's
right?
a very important topic. I've gotten a lot of feedback regarding it, and as Pam and Q and I were discussing before the show, it seems to be taboo, and especially with the herpes, it is so prevalent, and so many people have it. I'm sure how many people must we come in contact on a daily basis, but yet if you bring it up, it's like, oh my God, don't talk about that. I don't know. It's something that needs to come out, and people need to be more informed about it. They don't understand it. They don't know. I don't even think they really know how to contract it and how to pass it.
That's the problem. There's a lot of incorrect information out there and old information that people are going by.
Right.
And that's the problem, is that most people are horribly, horribly uninformed about all the STDs, to be honest. But many of the STDs can be cleared up, with medication like chlamydia and syphilis and gonorrhea. So those ones, if you're going to get one, I guess, are the ones to get.
Yeah.
But because you can at least clear them up. But the problem with HPV and herpes is once you got them, you got them.
Right.
And the thing is it's not always obvious that a person has them. So it's not like you can see a sign on them or whatever. And oftentimes a person's a carrier of either of those diseases, and they have no idea.
Right.
So that's why I started, bringing this to the forefront and decided that I really wanted to be a voice with this, because there's too many people that are contracting these STDs and then they think their life is over as well, which is a whole nother thing, the emotional impact it has on people. And the fact of the matter is that over 90% of Americans have some kind of the herpes virus between HSV1 and HSV2. 16% of people have, between ages of 14 and 49, have genital herpes, which is the HSV2 virus.
Wow.
Yeah, and 80 to 90% of those people do not know they have it. So, like I had somebody say to me, well, I should be able to see the sores, shouldn't I? Like when somebody's having an outbreak. And that's like one of the big myths that people are going by. They think you can see this thing, and people can actually be shedding the virus. And you don't actually, they don't even know they've got it. They're not even having outbreaks.
Right.
So that's the problem, is that, people don't understand that this isn't something that you can see, and a lot of people have no idea they've got it. And the other problem is that these diseases are not being normally tested for when you go for an STD test. If you go to your doctor and say, I want to have like the STD tests, they'll typically give you syphilis, gonorrhea, and HIV.
Right, HIV is like the first
Yeah.
one that they always
But they and so people go in and they think they've been tested for everything, and they haven't, because you have to specifically ask for chlamydia and for HPV and herpes, and they're not automatically done.
Right.
And then people wonder why they're passing these things on.
Well, a girlfriend of mine, and this is, I don't know too much details on it, you might know more. A girlfriend of mine said that, if she starts dating somebody and the more serious they get, and, before they cross that whole sex threshold, she wants them to go with her for this couples screening of STDs. Now, I had never heard of that before. I like in the past, I do my own thing, and of course you ask, but again, do people
You're taking
even
somebody's
know?
word for it.
And then you're taking their word for it. I'm not talking about one night stand. I'm talking, relationships.
Yeah.
I don't do one night stands. I swear to God, it's not for me. But
Liar.
I swear.
I'm sorry. Did somebody say
I have
something?
never ever done that.
I'm just saying.
But anyway, and I'm not just saying that to stay out of trouble. I'm serious.
Okay, you don't have to get all puffy on me.
Whatever. But you would hope that when you're in a relationship with somebody, they're being honest. But she had told me that like there was one person who she was getting to that point with, and they refused.
Yeah.
So,
and that tells you something about it.
She was like, what do you mean you refuse? You're telling me everything's fine. I want to make sure, we're going to go together, and he wouldn't do it. So she,
Sayonara, sucker.
Exactly.
Don't let the door hit you in the derriere on the way out.
So, yeah, I mean, I had never heard of that.
I think that's an excellent way to do it, too.
She did.
Yeah, she did. That's
did.
funny. Okay.
The one thing that I'm working with a gentleman by the name of Adriel, who's running the herpeslife.com website, and it's a fantastic website. It's an amazing resource for people with herpes or people who want to learn about herpes. He's got handouts that you can download and hand, well, first of all, for yourself to read when you're first diagnosed, and also to hand to a potential partner so that you can give them the facts. You don't have to memorize them all.
Now, wait a minute. Are you saying that when you're when you're getting involved with somebody, like you just hand them a pamphlet?
Well, the thing is, when you're getting to that point where you want to,
Right.
well, first of all, see, the thing about herpes is it will, it's a really good filter, because you're not going to disclose that you have herpes normally until you believe you can trust that person with that
Right,
kind of information.
right.
So it often will make you wait a little bit longer. You'll just keep putting them off, and keep trying to keep the hands where they're
Right.
not going to get into trouble. And it gives you a better chance to get to know the person better. But then when you want to go disclose, it's useful to have something with you that you can hand to them so that they can go home and think about it. Because for a lot of people, it's a big shock. They're
Well,
like,
yeah,
oh my
of
God, you've got
course.
what?
Yeah.
And so you can at least give them this thing. It has the website on it. They can go and they can get the information. They can contact Adriel, and he can coach them. They have all the information and various links and all kinds of forum discussions. So it's a really good resource for people to learn about the herpes virus so they can make an informed choice about if they want to go on with that relationship or not. And it's everybody's right to say, you know what, I really don't want to get involved with you. But at the same time, for many people, when they realize how common this is, how it really is just, and to the medical world as well as to those of us who have it, it really is just a skin condition.
Right.
An annoying pain in the you-know-what skin condition. But for a lot of people, they think that, if you get herpes, that everything's going to get covered in and your junk's going to fall off. Because what do? If you say to somebody, oh, you might have herpes, they're going to go on Google and they're going to go with Google Images and they're going to find the worst picture ever.
Yeah, and it's scary.
And then they go, oh my God, I don't want to contract that. The first outbreaks are the worst. After a while, your body learns to fight it off. So it does become just a nuisance. I mean, I've carried the herpes virus for most of my life in one form or other. I actually got the oral herpes when I was 3. And I got the genital one in my late teens. So I hit the jackpot. So I wish I had that kind of luck when I betted on the horses or whatever.
I think another misconception. I mean, I know that the herpes is an STD, but you just said, well, I had the oral one since I was 3. It doesn't mean that you were having sex. At
No,
3 years
some
old,
auntie
or
gave
that,
me kissed me or shared a drink or something,
exactly.
and with an outbreak.
That I remember being
back in the
school.
60s, they knew nothing about it. It was just a cold sore.
Exactly. I mean, I remember being in elementary school, and I would get the cold sores too. And it was always like, oh, you have herpes simplex 6, which was what everybody said. But like the kids would be like, you have VD, you have VD. No. And, and it was just like, but it's not. I never had it. I didn't, I was a little kid. And, but it can go from that to genital herpes.
And that's the other thing is that it's another one of the myths is that for years I can remember being told that the HSV1 stays in the mouth and the other one heads south. And and that they both liked their respective homes and they didn't go and visit each other. Well, that's not true.
Well, if the mouth goes south.
But if well, that's what they know now. They do know that if the mouth goes south, that 50% of the new genital cases that are being diagnosed are HSV1. So 50% are being caused by oral sex. And that's because people often think if I have oral sex, I'm safe.
And this is why I always say oral sex is so much more intimate. There's more, you can use a condom during sex. But, I mean, how many people use those dental dams and stuff?
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Yeah, sorry.
No, that's enough. And the other thing is now they're starting to find out that herpes and HPV as well are causing various, I think it's called oropharyngeal, I think that's how you say it properly, but throat cancers.
Okay, well, can we talk more about that after our break?
Sure.
We could go right into the medical aspects and the effects of it and what's going on and what effects it has on the physical body and
Absolutely.
medical issues.
I just want to
We'll do
point
that.
out how
Yes.
Q only interjects to take a music break. Is
Well,
this a little touchy subject?
No, not at all. Actually, she's so well informed, I don't have to talk.
Well, you know what that was like me, though, with our sex toys last time.
Right, I didn't have to talk.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you had all the information.
I did.
See, my job, what I do here is that I facilitate, I ask the questions, but if somebody has a lot of information, they become a very easy interview. You see,
Yeah.
that's right.
Don't even have to interview.
Exactly, because she's given some great information.
Hey, let's throw her off by the 3rd segment.
How about we do that?
How about we throw a
we
curveball?
pick it at a
good.
little
All
bit,
right.
okay? All right,
Good.
then.
You can
We'll
try.
be right back after this music break.
Love, Life, and Sex with Q and Debby.
What I'm thinking, baby, and I'm not slowing down, little lady. There is no ifs, ands, or maybes. You know what I want with you. You know what I'm thinking, baby, and I'm not slowing down, little lady. There is no ifs, ands, or maybes. You know what I want with you. I want to F-C-K. All I need is you. F-C-K. All I need is you. FCK. All I need is you. FCK. All I need is you. I'm 13, I'm still up on the scene. You can call me global woman cause my pockets stay green. I'm a gentleman but my flow so mean. I'ma tell you with an accent I go in. Pass me the VOL to the I. Heavenly flow but oh hell I'm fat. Yeah, to the truth, even when I lie. I'm a wolf, it's like a little red rat. Gotta see me even if you're blind. You wanna fuck me, I can see it in your ass. FCK, all I need is you. You know what I'm thinking, baby, and I'm not slowing down, little lady. There is no ifs, ands, or maybes. You know what I want with you. You know what I'm thinking, baby, and I'm not slowing down, little lady. There is no ifs, ands, or maybes. You know what I want with you. I want to FCK. All I need is you. FCK. All I need is you. FCK. All I need is you. FCK.
Snow White. Hola, wow, guess who's here? Ya llegó la mexicana, finna blow this year. About to take a whole lot more to take control this year. Cause they wanna see me in Miami in a gold brassiere. Hot sun, cold heart in a frozen beer. I stunt so hard that they froze in fear. Y'all bums gon' pause when I roll this here. Cause that loud at 1,000 gon' blow your ear. Dominican and Prada, Louis for Colombiana, Louis for the Puerto Rican, Gucci for Miss Guatemala, Cuban links for Cubanas. If you think about designer, you can find them at the mall with this bad Mexicana. We know these boys wanna F. What they see is what they wanna get. It's okay if they think about sex. Just remember we're the you and the best.
You know what I'm thinking, baby, and I'm not slowing down, little lady. There is no ifs, ands, or maybes. You know what I want with you. You know what I'm thinking, baby, and I'm not slowing down, little lady. There is no ifs, ands, or maybes. You know what I want with you. I want to FCK. All I need is you. FCK. All I need is you. FCK. All I need is you. FCK.
Hey, welcome back, guys. I hope you enjoyed the music. And we're talking with Pam and Debbie about STDs, and she's giving some great points. I know, right? That's so not right.
She's making
She's making stuff up. You know what I'm saying?
Numbers out there, scare the hell out of
out of her book.
The reason why I'm so quiet is because her information is phenomenal. I'm just listening. So, guys, listening. I mean, and we'll interject at the end. And please don't hesitate to contact us and with any questions that you may have. Okay?
Oh, you want me to chime
Sure.
in now? Okay. Well, our email address is lovelifeandsex957@yahoo.com. You can reach us at the studio, 845-471-3919. Our Facebook page, our main page is facebook.com/life, love, and sex in the number 7. And then our fan page is facebook.com/love, life, and sex 957. I also have a bunch of different websites and stuff regarding the herpes.
Okay.
Dating websites for people that have either herpes. One is specific towards herpes. There's another one for all different kinds of STDs. So here, I'll give you a couple right now, just
Please
since
do.
I'm on a roll.
That's really informative.
It is, isn't it?
Yeah.
I try to keep up with Pam this time. So there's a website called positivesingles.com. On that website, you can actually pick which STD that you have, because it's kind of like in your profile. There's a drop-down box, so you can pick either one of the herpes simplexes, I guess. Is that the right?
Yes.
Okay. You can pick HPV. There's the chlamydia, all of them, and then there was even a thing to check for others. I did not go past that, but there was also another dating site. It was hworks.com. So it was H and then WERKS.com. That one's a dating site for singles, specifically with herpes. They also do all kinds of support groups, different get-togethers, national and regional meetups. I have other stuff to go into as well, but I'm going to get back to Pam. I don't want to inundate everybody with all these different websites at once. So
And we'll repeat them again at the end of the show.
I might.
No, we will.
No, I might.
And you're going to have them up on the, you do this onto a
Oh, yeah.
YouTube thing or whatever, so you can actually
Yeah,
have it on the screen?
When the podcast is actually done, I take from what I'm sent, I take that and I add different pictures and stuff, and I put obviously all of our contact
Yeah.
information, and then throughout it, I will put all the different websites, phone numbers. I'll take your links, I'll put them all through that, so as people are listening, they can also see different stuff and have all that contact information, different
Awesome.
websites, phone numbers, everything.
There's a lot of really good stuff out there.
There is, and see, this is all my stuff that I have to do. Q shows up, he sits here, he interjects here. And
See,
there,
but
says, "Hey,
you're
let's
taking up
listen to some
Pam's
music."
time now talking
Okay.
because we're supposed to get back to the point. See, talk about how the physical and medical effects of the herpes and
And
these
there's
STDs.
Excuse me, Pam has stuff to say. Go ahead,
There's
Pam.
two sides. There's the physical and there's the emotional. And, sometimes it's hard to tell which one's worse for some people. I mean, the thing is, when you first have your first outbreaks, they're the worst. And they can be pretty miserable and they can make you feel pretty bad. And when you're feeling physically bad, then your emotional
Right.
stuff can get worse too. So the one of the things to remember is if you happen to get herpes, your life is not over. Your sex life is not over. There's way worse things that can happen to you. And there's a lot of really great support out there. And the best thing you can do is to try to reach out to other people who have it because we understand.
Right.
And it's not that you want to hide it from other people. In fact, is one of the things I'm trying to do is to make this more of a public forum type thing so that doesn't have the stigma attached. Because the problem is that this is being discussed behind closed doors with people that don't know what they're talking about. And it keeps people from getting the proper information. And that's why we have the emotional stigma that goes with it. Because, like on the forum that I'm on, the Herpes Life forum, we see people come on there and they've just been diagnosed and they're having an outbreak and they don't know how to deal with the outbreak. And that's one part of it. And the doctors are not always helpful either. The doctors are often just like, hey, you've got herpes, you'll be fine. If you want, you can take some meds for it. And otherwise, don't worry about it. It's fine. And they kick you out of the office and the people just have no idea. They're floored. And they can have a lot of a lot of emotional stuff to go with it afterwards that they don't know how to deal with. So these different support groups are a really great place to go to and say, I just got diagnosed and I think my life is over and whatever. And you'll have people that'll say, you know what, I've had it for a long time. It doesn't mean your life is over. If anything, it helps you filter the jerks out of your life really, really well. Which people don't see that until you've had it for a while, and then you start to realize that it's actually not such a bad thing after all. But the really one of the main things for me is just trying to help people not have to go through that really ugly emotional stuff that comes with it, because it really is devastating for some people. I mean, I've just saw a young lady today on one of the chats that I was on who was suicidal.
Right.
And it's really not that bad. And that's one of the things I want people to get, that yes, it's serious. We don't want people to get STDs, but at the same time, it's
manageable.
It's manageable and you can live with it.
I liken what you were saying earlier about bringing awareness and how you talk about your personal experiences. Because I think one of the greatest things that Magic Johnson ever did was go publicly about his HIV.
Yes.
And it brought such an awareness and such a focus on trying to resolve it and make it manageable.
And reduce the stigma.
Exactly. And
the thing is, there was actually he just had another interview with Oprah this week.
Oh, is that right?
They did a follow-up. And it was beautiful to listen to him because he said, first of all, people were like, well, my partner's never going to want to be with me because I'm unclean and I'm dirty and whatever. And if you think it's bad with herpes, HIV,
Yeah, of course.
is way, way worse. And yet, they have a 40-year life expectancy or more now with HIV. They can keep it completely controlled. I mean, his wife, thankfully, had not gotten it because he was actually diagnosed after he got married, and she was already pregnant.
Right.
And they've got 2 children. They've got a wonderful marriage, and it has not affected them. So if you can do that with HIV, herpes
Right,
is nothing
exactly.
by comparison, and it is very, very manageable. We can manage the outbreaks with acyclovir and Valtrex, and that cuts your risk of transmission down by about half. And then
Interesting.
there's various other things, Epsom salt bath when you have a breakout. I mean, there's all kinds of things that you can do to manage it.
So is it true, because like you said earlier, the stigma is when you have a breakout, that's the only time you could transmit the disease?
Well, that's what people think.
But that's why I'm asking, is that true or not?
And that's not true.
Okay,
You
okay.
can they reckon that the viral shedding happens about 5 to 10% of the time, but it doesn't mean that there's enough virus for somebody to actually contract it.
Gotcha.
However, it all has to do with, okay, do you have, maybe you're shedding lightly, but somebody has maybe a big sore themselves or an ingrown hair or something. So that would make it easier for the virus to get into the
accessible.
body.
Right.
Or if your immune system's down, if you're under a lot of stress, all kinds of things because you can be with somebody for years and not get it.
Right,
And
because
then just
right.
some weird combination of circumstances. So that's why, and the thing is, I always say herpes is a slippery little bugger, because even though we have statistics and stuff around it, it does not always play by the rules. I just had a person that I talked to was married over 30 years when she had her first outbreak.
Interesting.
Didn't even know she had it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow,
That's-
that's not cool.
It's not cool because, and the reason it's not cool is that, in my opinion, everybody needs to be tested at least once. If you're in a committed monogamous relationship, you shouldn't need it again. But I do believe that everybody should get tested at least once, just so you know what your status is.
And could you repeat again that let people know that when they do the testing, they think that it covers everything, but you have to specifically ask
when
for.
you go in for an STD test, you must ask for the herpes test. And sometimes doctors will look at you and go, well, have you got any reason to think you've got it? And sometimes they'll try to avoid, doing the test. If you want the test, insist on the test.
Right.
Just say, I need it for my,
Peace
for
of
my peace
mind.
of mind.
Right, which is
know.
it's your right as a person.
And the other thing that you have to also understand is if you have been exposed, or you think you've been exposed, or you've just come out of a relationship where maybe you're questionable about your partner's activities or anything like that, it's going to take about 4 months for the herpes virus to show up in your blood.
Interesting.
So, you may get tested and it comes out negative, and if you're still not quite sure, go back in about 4 months and get retested.
Now, can herpes be transmitted through the hands if the hands touch the genital area or the infected area?
You can transmit it, like you can get what they call ocular herpes, where somebody has it, say, genitally or whatever, and then they touch their eye, and it can transmit there. It can actually end up on other areas of the body. Say if you have an open wound, usually once you've had it for a while, your body gets the immunity to it, and so you won't self-inoculate other areas of your own body. But when you
Right.
first get it,
It
it
breaks
is
out.
possible.
It breaks out. It could
But
break out all
it
over
could.
the place.
It's
Yeah.
very unusual.
Right.
And the other thing is, like wrestlers get a form of herpes on their bodies
Right.
because they're
On the
breaking the
mat.
skin, and it gets on the mat, and it's all sweaty and wet, and,
Right,
and
right.
the warm, moist environment, perfect environment for herpes. It loves it. So yeah, there's various other ways that you can get.
So
infected.
basically, if you're an athlete that does a lot of physical contact with other athletes, it's a good idea to get
It's
tested
probably not
regularly.
a bad idea as well. Or at least if you have a suspicious blister or sore that comes up and just doesn't want to heal right, make sure you get it swabbed. If you have a blister, on your lip, on your genitalia, or somewhere on your body that just doesn't make sense, get it swabbed, because they'll even be able to tell you with that which one you've got. And then once you know, the thing is, once you know, now you can manage it. And that's the biggest thing of all, is being able to actually manage the virus for yourself and for everybody around you. But
Okay.
it doesn't mean that like you have to Clorox the heck out of everything. There was somebody on one of the boards who was like, well, when I go to the toilet, I get out a Clorox wipe and I wipe it down, and every time I use the bathtub, I'm bleaching the bathtub.
Yeah, it's a little
after
over the top, yeah.
Yeah, because the soap and water and things like that will kill it. Being exposed to the air for any amount of time will kill it.
We have to take a break.
Right. Okay. And we'll talk more about
Yeah, and
managing
when we
afterwards.
come back, I want to ask something regarding something that you had said about the woman that was married for 30 years. So
Yeah.
Okay.
that's where I'm going when we come back, because y'all keep talking.
Okay. Well, we'll take a break. We'll take a music break, and we'll be right back shortly.
Love, Life, and Sex with Q and Debby.
We clawed, we chained our hearts in vain. We jumped, never asking why. We kissed, I fell under your spell of love. No one could deny. Don't you ever say I just walked away. I will always want you. I can't live a lie, running for my life. I will always want you. I came in like a wrecking ball. I never hit so hard in love. All I wanted was to break your walls. All you ever did was wreck me. Yeah, you wrecked me. Yeah, you wrecked me. I came in like a wrecking ball.
Let's get ridiculous!
I came in like the
Let's get ridiculous!
Okay, so we're back with Pam, and we are discussing the herpes virus. I had a question. She had stated something about a woman just recently that she found out about, or the woman found out. She's been married for 30 years, if I did hear you right.
Yes.
And she had her first outbreak. Now, here's my question. It's an STD. If she did she not even know she had herpes?
She could have gotten it from, a relationship before she got married and just silently carried it. Usually people will break out at some point, or they just won't,
Okay.
but like they'll break out early or they won't. But it's that's the thing with herpes is, and actually there was another woman on one of our boards that's been 27 years from when she knows that she was probably exposed
Okay,
to,
but
to her first outbreak.
here, like the first thing I think of when you say that, yes, woman was married for 30 years and then bam, she had a breakout.
Yes.
If I was the woman and I know I wasn't cheating, I would accuse my husband of cheating.
Her husband got tested and came out clear.
Really?
Yeah.
So then he didn't think she was cheating?
They actually went to the doctor together, and thank heavens they got a smart doctor who was really good with
Okay.
explaining the whole thing. Because yes, it could make things a little rocky.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry. Of course. And that's when you said that.
and
Oh,
that's why people have to understand that
it can lie dormant.
it can lie dormant, and the person can be completely ignorant to it. Now, if you know you have it, you really, it's if you got any integrity, you'll disclose it to anybody you're going to get sexual
people
with.
out there have integrity?
But well,
not to sound nasty,
but the thing is, a lot of people think that I didn't get anybody. I've been with 4 other partners and they didn't get it, so
Why should I say so now?
Or they'll play it down. They say, oh, it's okay. I've been with 3 or 4 other people and they never got it. That doesn't mean that the person doesn't deserve to at least know what the facts are around the disease, so they can make an informed choice. And that is one of the things. But going back to this woman, there's some people who will never have an outbreak.
Right. They're curious.
She happened to be having a bit of a stressful time. She was organizing something extra that was put on her plate, and that's what triggered her to go over the top.
Stress will kind of push your immune system
exactly.
down,
And stress is one of the biggest things that'll make you have an outbreak. There's certain foods sometimes and various things,
Right.
but stress and your immune system are the 2 really big factors with herpes outbreaks. 15 to 20% of people that have an initial outbreak won't even have any more outbreaks. So they may think that they got something like a heat rash or
Right.
or whatever. And for people that do have regular outbreaks, they may have 4 to 6 a year after their initial, thing, which they may have a lot of them to start with, but then the body, gets an immunity and fights it off. And then some people, I used to get outbreaks, I probably got 4 or 5 a year. Now I hardly get anything,
Right.
But my body's just learned to fight it off. And also I don't have the hormone fluctuations. For women not going on, when they go on their period, it'll often be the thing that triggers them.
Now, do you take like a medication? Because I know there's different things out there.
I don't take it on a day-to-day basis when
Okay.
I'm alone.
Okay.
I only take it if I have an outbreak. But there's Valtrex and acyclovir, and both of those are really good for keeping the herpes virus at bay and helping to keep it dormant. It doesn't mean that you're not going to shed it all, but it can cut everything in half.
Valtrex, this is, like I had said that, I've gotten the cold sores since I was
Yeah.
in elementary school. And I remember one time I was working, and one of the people I worked with, because the blister got really bad on my lip, they said, well, call your doctor, have them call in Valtrex. I had no idea what it was. I go to the pharmacy, and I swear to you, the pharmacist looked at me really awkwardly, and I'm like, what the heck?
Yep.
Now, I didn't know what this medication was.
Yeah.
I open it up, and I called my doctor. I go, you know that you gave me something for herpes? And because...
You didn't even know it was herpes.
No! And they're like, well, a cold sore, that is a form
same
of
thing.
herpes.
Yeah.
And I was like...
And so is chickenpox, by the way.
Right.
Really? So I never had chickenpox. I just get the cold sores.
It's just a different. Well, it's a different.
Right.
It's a different herpes virus.
Crazy.
So one of the things that people often need to know when you're going into a relationship is what's my chances of getting this?
Well, that's the question I was going to ask you. What is the point of transmission?
Yeah.
How often, or what are the chances of transmission happening?
So basically, if you have unprotected sex, the herpes male to female rate is around 10%.
It's always more. It's always higher.
Yeah, and,
for
and whereas
us.
female to male is about 4%,
Right.
because we have a lovely, warm, moist environment down there and a lot thin, and that
Moist.
thin tissue.
Very
Oh,
lovely.
Sorry,
I'm sorry. I went off there. I'm sorry.
Moist.
Very lovely.
a lot of people
Very
that
lovely.
word, the moist word, yeah.
Yeah, and
but
Q's over here going very lovely.
but the thing is, we have because of the labia is a thinner skin.
Here she
you
goes
know,
with the technical terms.
but that's and the thing is, why
Debbie,
can't we
leave her
talk
alone.
about this like adults? I mean, come on,
Yes.
we're just talking. We got to be able to talk
Labia.
about this openly.
Next thing she's gonna say vagina.
Yeah. Oh boy.
You're for JJ.
JJ.
Well, she's-
But anyway,
she's
so
trying to be nice
you're
about
on.
it.
No.
Okay.
Your unprotected transmission rates, like I say, female to male 10%. 4%. Female to male 4%. Male to female 10%. That's assuming you have no sex during outbreaks, so you're not on antivirals, and you don't use condoms. When you add some other things, you can actually drastically reduce those rates of transmission. If you take the suppressive therapy with the antivirals and whatever, depending on where you read, they say at least 50% reduction. So you go from with a female to male goes from 4% down to 2%.
Wow.
And for some studies, say it could be up as high as 98%. Depends
Wow.
on what
Wow.
what studies you're reading and
Right.
whatever, and maybe your own immune system, from person to person. Your condoms are going to reduce your transmission rates by another 30 to 50%.
Okay.
A
Here-
condom, by the way, a condom is not a guarantee you will not get herpes.
No, because it's just the semen that there's no fluids, but there's still skin touching.
Well, the thing is, a lot of people get their outbreaks, say, on the inside of their thigh, or
Right,
up
that's what I'm saying,
or up
the
on their
skin
behind,
is still
and whatever. It's
touching.
not, or in the men, it can be on the scrotum. So it's not covered by the latex.
Right.
She said scrotum.
Scrotum.
Sorry, I'm use technical
No,
terms.
no,
I don't sit there and I don't. I
I'm
don't
really
tiptoe.
busting Debbie's chops here.
Cojones.
Yes.
But so those areas are not covered by the latex. So just because you're using a condom also doesn't mean that you're necessarily going to be safe.
Abstinence, people. Abstinence.
Oh, well, I'll try it after you try it, Debbie.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm getting married. I don't have to do abstinence.
Yeah, you don't have to. Do that, right?
I will
So-
kill him.
The other thing that people need, if they need to be aware of, if you've got herpes, is knowing what they call your prodrome symptoms, and that's what you get before you get an outbreak. So it can be tingling, itching, burning. For me, it's just a weird sensation. I get like this it's sort of kind of a tingle, but it's not quite. And I now, if I get that, I start taking antivirals. I actually use a thing called ammonium alum that I put directly on it, and it dries it right up, and I can get rid of it in 3 days to a week at the worst. Once you've learned, and also certain foods can set you off, so people can learn how to manage it, by understanding what it is that sets them off. But like I say, so you can take, say, the female to male transmission down if you're using condoms and suppressive therapy down to about 1%. So it is very manageable. The thing is, getting a diagnosis or at least getting tested so you know if you have it,
That
and
seems
then learning
to be
what
the
to
big
do.
problem because,
Yeah.
as we had stated earlier, you go in and I personally have asked for, like a full panel on STDs, and then you come to find out they're really only checking for 2 or 3.
Yes.
And there's a lot of them out there.
Yeah.
So,
And the thing is, they'll often say, well, we'll call you if there's a problem. So you don't even get a piece of paper
right.
saying what it is you were tested for. So that's why, it's probably not a bad thing to say, I'd really like to get a copy of all my lab results.
Right.
And then that way, if you're going into a relationship, you can actually say, this is
Hey,
my
look,
last.
I'm clean, or this is what I have.
Let's exchange papers.
Yeah.
It's a little
You show me
clinical.
yours and I'll
show you mine. Yeah. And the other thing people have to understand is the HSV2, which is the genital herpes, what's traditionally considered to be genital herpes, sheds 5 times more than HSV1, which is considered to be the oral herpes. If you have the genital herpes, you do want to be more careful. And the other thing is there's also a whole conversation about, well, if I just have cold sores, should I tell somebody before I kiss them? And that's a whole Like, there's so much controversy around that right now because it is technically an STD. If you're, even if you don't have oral sex, you kiss somebody and then they like to
But
have oral
that's
sex,
when
they
you
can
only
pass
have
it on.
the cold sore, isn't
Yes.
it? Now, someone had also told me he was a nurse, and he said that even when you have a cold sore, like if you say kiss somebody on their neck, that
Yeah.
you can actually transmit it that way.
I mean, well, you could actually get it on their neck if they had an open wound
Okay.
on the neck or something like
But
that.
it
or,
has
you
to
know.
be broken
It-
skin.
it's more likely to get through broken skin unless you have a very, very poor immune system. It has to, because it's usually going to get on the skin will dry before it has a chance to get into the body. So, I wouldn't really, you got to be careful not to get totally freaked out and paranoid and then wrap yourself in
Saran wrap?
saran wrap, because you're afraid of
Body
getting
condom?
something. Exactly. Yeah, so, no, it's again, it's get yourself tested and also get yourself properly educated because that's the two things. There's so much stigma around STDs in general and especially herpes and HPV. And HPV, just real quickly too, HPV is the most common
STD.
STD. And basically, they basically say that everybody at some point in their life will probably get one of the varieties of HPV.
Right, and
HPV.
some of them are actually you can clear up, but
Well,
you know
they don't actually clear up. That's the another
Well,
one
that
of the
was
things.
something that I just saw today. But
Yeah. What happens is that after 2 years they'll go dormant,
okay.
but you never actually totally get rid of it.
So are you saying that almost everybody has a form of HPV?
They say even somebody in a committed monogamous relationship could still actually get HPV.
Right, because it's
So it's
it,
like
it lays
cancer
dormant.
cells.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right,
Kind
it
of like
stays
cancer
dormant.
cells.
Because it actually can be passed just skin to skin. It doesn't have to be through sexual contact.
Gotcha.
There's like 100 varieties of HPV. 2 or 3 of them make genital warts, which is about the only way a guy ever knows he's got it.
Right.
Because they can't test men.
Right.
There's about 6 or 8 that can turn cancerous, but the cancer takes 5 to 6 years or so to get to a
Right.
point where
So
it's
if
a
you're
problem.
doing
So if you're
regular
getting
checks, yeah.
normal pap smears,
Right.
you should be able to. So it's one of those things. Again, don't panic about it. Be aware of it. Get yourself. For women, you have to get yourself tested. And by the way, when you have a pap smear, that does not mean that they will be doing the HPV swabs.
You have to
If
ask
they
for
see
that
something, if they see an
Right.
anomaly in there, they'll say, we should do
An
it.
irregular-
So again, you say, look, I know I'm getting a pap smear, but I also want to be tested for HPV.
All right, well, we're going to have to take a quick break, but right before we do, because Pam was saying that there is a lot of information out there, the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, they actually have an 800 number, and that number is 800 CDC for Centers for Disease Control Info. So it's CDC-INFO, and it's an 800 number. Their website is also cdc.gov/STD, and you can do the /herpes. I'm sure you can find everything on there. And also, I found another website. It's stdgroups.com. You can go in there and search for different groups in the different states. I happen to search for herpes in New York, so if you wanted to go directly to that, if you're in New York, stdgroups.com/listings/herpes-new-york. So we're going to go ahead and listen to some music quick.
Love, life, and sex with Q and Debby.
When Jason was at the table, I kept on seeing him look at me while he's with that other girl. Do you think he was just doing that to make me jealous? Because he was totally texting me all night last night, and I don't know if it's a booty call or not. So, what do you think? Did you think that girl was pretty? How did that girl even get in here? Do you see her? She's so short, and that dress is so tacky. Who wears cheetah? It's not even summer. Why does the DJ keep on playing Summertime Sadness? After we get out of the bathroom, can we go smoke a cigarette? I really need one. But first, let me take a selfie. pick a filter. I don't know if I should go with XX Pro or Valencia. I want to look tan. What should my caption be? I want it to be clever. How about living with my bitches, #live. I only got 10 likes in the last 5 minutes. Do you think I should take it down? Let me take another selfie. Let me take a selfie.
Hey guys, welcome back. I hope you enjoyed the music. We're having a fantastic show today. A lot of information. You may want to repeat the show, listen to different parts, but Debbie and Pam are going to give you contact information and things like that. But to kind of wrap up what Pam was talking about, you brought up the concept of HPV, and you were talking about herpes, genital herpes, and everything like that. And we kind of came to an understanding that it's a sneaky type of disease, and it's just like you were saying earlier, it's slippery, and it kind of gets it kind of doesn't tell you that it's around, especially for men.
A sneaky booger.
Right.
Slippery little bugger.
Yeah.
Right, and so just you guys out there, all of you men and women, need to be become very aware and conscious of that. Don't be irresponsible in dealing with when you're having having fun, having intimacy with people, because you never know what you're going to be running into. So, but Pam, finish up what you were saying earlier about we were talking about points of contacts, how people get the transmission, and you were talking about, Debbie, what we need to really do to kind of become conscious of it by giving out the websites and all the information. So, today was an easy day for me. You guys can wrap it up.
Well, I'm gonna go ahead with a couple more of these numbers and a website. I found one. It's called datingwithherpes.org, and what this does, it's a national herpes hotline they have as well. The 800 number for that is 800-227-8922. However, the website, again, it's datingwithherpes.org. You can do the / and it's herpes support groups. That'll give you different groups that you can go ahead and find in the area. If you just do the regular website, there's a whole bunch of links on there. On the right side of the page, you can click on them all. There's a dating online, support groups, social groups, different kinds of treatments, also how to help tell someone that you're involved with what you have, and there was a ton of other things. I just grabbed the ones that I felt were the most important. Also, I had said earlier, the Center for Disease Control and Prevention, their 800 number is CDC info, so it's 800 CDC-INFO. Website cdc.gov /STD, and then you can do a /herpes, or you can find anyone on there. I wanted to give, Pam has started a group on Facebook, and it's facebook.com /groups /support truth dialogue. He's always coughing, so let me say it again.
I'm so sorry.
Pam's group, and it's a support group for people with herpes. It's facebook.com /groups /support truth dialogue. And what Pam and I were discussing about the group is it's an open forum for people to discuss different things, to go there, to feel free to, ask questions. If different things will come up. It is Pam's group, and as you can tell by listening to the show, she's very informative. She's been living with us, with us, with the herpes virus for quite a while. And
did you just call us herpes?
No, I mean it came out like that, but
She
that's
just called-
not what
she-
I said.
She just called me a herpy.
Whatever.
And it's
But-
not. It's actually not just for herpes. It's for all the
All
the
STDs?
STDs.
Okay.
So you think about it: STD, support, truth, and dialogue.
Correct.
So you
correct.
can just go and search for that: support, truth, and dialogue. Because I really believe that we need to start having very adult public conversations about these things instead of hiding behind it. I basically, just a really quick thing about what brought me to this point of doing these things, is that I finally got tired of somebody doing the walk after I did the talk.
Mm-hmm.
And so I actually publicly came out on Facebook.
Yes, I did post that on our page.
Yeah.
Your coming out
Yeah.
post and
And it really was like living in a closet. It's a different kind of closet, because I saw on a TED Talk, a closet is just a dark place where you feel like you're alone and you don't have support, and everybody has a closet, and that for me was my closet. And so I started this group so that we can start having adult conversations about these things, because the reason we have so much stigma and so much misunderstanding is people are not talking about it.
right.
And, there's nothing, like, why can't we be adults? And just be able to get on a Facebook, like, I know that people might feel uncomfortable joining a group like that, but the whole thing is to get yourself informed. So if you're dating, or if you got children who
That's
are
another
dating,
thing I was
or
gonna
if you
bring
have a
up.
friend that you're a little concerned about, or a friend's said to you, hey, I've got this herpes thing and I don't know what to do. This is a place you can come and get information. And all the posts, by the way, have to go through me, so that if somebody's saying something that's off the wall or
Right.
whatever, it's not going to get posted on there, because this really has to be a safe place for people to have this dialogue.
Okay. Yeah, and then another thing that you had said when you gave me the information for the group was that even it's something where you can help people talk to their teenagers about
Exactly.
these different STDs, and
Yeah.
because it's a hard thing.
I hate to say it,
talk-
but a lot of stuff they're being told in the schools
It's
just is
not
not
true.
getting through.
It's not-
It's
yeah,
either
and
not
they're
true
not-
or it's not getting
Right,
through.
they're not listening. They're in health class. They don't want to be there.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
uncomfortable stuff. And, as parents, you have to have that open relationship. Even
Exactly.
if you don't have it with your child, you have to inform them.
Yeah.
I remember when I was a kid.
And you have to
my
be ready if
mother-
your kid comes home and
Well,
says, I've got herpes,
Right,
Mom.
but if you
You
have
know?
that talk, they'll be a little bit more aware. When I was a kid, my mother came to me. She drew a picture of an upside down pear, and she said, "This is your uterus. Your ovaries are over here." But she told me nothing
Yeah.
about my period, nothing about STDs, nothing about preventing pregnancy. I'm telling you, nothing. And
Yep.
of course, I didn't pay attention in health because it was embarrassing. But I mean, these are things people
Yeah.
don't feel that have that comfort level. So that was another thing about your group, is that people can go there and talk, and
Yeah.
you can help them. Hey, maybe approach it like this. And I think that was something great that you had mentioned that
Yeah.
the group can be there for.
Yeah, so what I'm going to be doing is putting factoids out, about the various different STDs and stuff like that, from time to time. And the other thing I really do want people to be aware of, there's a couple other websites. There's, like I say, there's the Herpes Life website, herpeslife.com. Again, there's some great forum conversations and tons of information that Adriel Dale has put on there. He's very, very knowledgeable as well, and he's an amazing coach and helps people get through the emotional stuff that comes with it. And he has handouts and things you can download and all kinds of wonderful things. And trying to get the other one up. Sorry, it's not coming up on my phone. Because there's a support group for the HPV as well that I found that looked like a really, really good support group. Just give me 1 second here. But the Herpes Life, really, if you want to learn anything about herpes, it's the place to go. It's a very safe place. We're very nurturing of people when they're going through their herpes journey, because it can be quite rocky for people when they're first diagnosed. The HPV support group, oh God, I had it turned off, sorry, is www.thehpvsupportnetwork.org. That's the HPV Support Network.org. That's a really great place to go if you want to learn about HPV. And again, my group, the Support Truth and Dialogue, and Herpes Life.
Fabulous, Pam. Let me just say thank you to you for coming in, because the information was phenomenal. And, we've done some serious shows, but, this one, I think, as we were saying, I mean, this is something that really needs to be out there. People, it still is taboo, even though so many people do have some form of STD. Herpes seems to be very prevalent, along with the HPV. So
between HPV and herpes,
yeah,
there's a pretty good chance you're going to come in contact with one or the other. And if you're lucky, you don't get it. But there's a pretty good chance that if you're sexually active and you're out dating and you're going through that crap we have to get through when we're trying to find somebody, and you're going through dating various people, there's a good chance you're going to get exposed to at least one of them, and if you're lucky, you don't win the crapshoot.
Right. So I mean, I do thank you for coming on and coming out with your own issues. I mean, that's wonderful, and I've said to you before, I'll help you any way I can to get the word out there, because it is so important that people be informed properly.
Yeah. So
I do thank you. I did want to just give out our information again. Our email, lovelifeandsex957@yahoo.com. Our fan page on Facebook is facebook.com lovelifeandsex957. And when we're in the studio, you can reach us here at 845-471-3919. So we have all of Pam's information. I will also go ahead and back on our Facebook pages. I'll go ahead and post again your group, the different links. I posted a whole bunch of them today, as well as the ones that I had found and shared earlier in the show. And do you have anything that you would like to say, Q?
Well, I'd like to thank Pam a lot. The information you gave today was quite profound, very informative. I feel like I should walk out of here with a certificate in my hand of all the information.
Know about herpes.
I know about herpes, and tune in and don't be shy about it. But here's the most important thing for all of you that are out there. Everybody's afraid of hearing something. Have the courage to go out and find out, because guess what? When you find out you don't have it, how great does that feel? So go out there and go see your doctor, or go get to your provider and get the test that you need, not just for the herpes, not for STDs, but for anything that you need to do out there. So that way you don't, you can be relieved of worrying about it. Because, it's like that thing, you get that car issue and all of a sudden you hope it goes away, so you don't do nothing about it, and it turns out to be having to replace all your brakes, and a $200 job turns into a $1,500 job. Well, herpes, there's no way of fixing that.
Well, the thing is, too, is if you do have it, you don't want to be that person that gives it to somebody
That's
because you
exactly
didn't know
right.
you had it, because
That's
it
exactly
happens
right.
all the time.
That's exactly right, and that's what I'm saying. Don't create guilt for yourself by giving it to somebody because you were ignorant of it yourself. Yeah. And I can't thank you enough for coming tonight. And I thank my on-air wife for bringing you, because it gave a lot of information, and I really appreciate that, because I didn't have to talk too much tonight.
Yeah, Pam did a lot. I did a little, and you did none.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Isn't that great? It's isn't it usually the other way around? Until D-Rock turns the mic off?
I don't even want to go there right now. Anyway, thank you, Pam, for coming in.
Well, thank you.
We appreciate it. And he's giving me the look.
No, the only look I'm giving you is like, you're going to tell him what we're going to talk about next? Well, tune in and you'll find out.
I know. I'm such a slacker. I'm supposed to have.
Why are you
next
slacking? But then you turn
topic.
around and you bust my chops for not doing any work, right?
I do.
Stop beating yourself
Anyway,
up.
thank you,
Yeah,
everybody,
we should talk
for
about how
listening
women
in.
beating ourselves up.
Thank you again, Pam. We appreciate it so
Absolutely.
much.
Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
Thank you. You've been such a joy, and greatly appreciate it. All right, guys. Thank you for tuning in, and you tune in for the next show. Q and Debby, Love, Life, and Sex, and hit our Facebook, like our page, and listen to all our podcasts. You can play them over and over as often as you like.
I just want to interject really quick. The name of our show is not Q and Debby, Love, Life, and Sex.
That's right.
It's Love, Life, and Sex. with Q and Debbie.
Well, today I'm an egomaniac, so I'm going to say Q and Debbie love life and sex.
All right.
Okay.
Notice how I did.
But you're
say
right.
your
No,
name
yeah,
first,
yeah,
so.
absolutely right though. You're absolutely right. It is love life and sex with Q and Debbie.
Q and Debbie.
You're absolutely right.
That's
But
love.
today is Q and Debbie love life and sex.
Okay.
Because I didn't get to
feeling the
talk
love.
much at all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you guys.
Thanks a lot, guys.
Love, life, and sex with Q and Debbie.